Everybody join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all coming out tonight. For those who don't know, I'm Ryan Harrison, County Commissioner. I'm currently the President. We all agreed to call this meeting because this all was fast and a surprise for all of us. So tonight is more or less a statement of facts for you all, so you know what we know. And there isn't a lot, okay? This all took place Wednesday at 9 a.m., this past Wednesday. We went there, a couple of us went there for what we thought was a normal meeting with Belterra. It's not unusual to go to Belterra and get updates from them. We met with the Vice President, Ward Shaw. He's the Vice President of Boyd Gaming nationally. And he informed us that, and you guys can shut me down if I'm wrong, I believe it was September 9th will be the last. September 8th. Okay, September 8th, September 6th, either way, folks. It's the first week of September will be the last operating day of the Oval House. He then informed us that they would turn it back into Greenfield. I
can't hear you.
They will turn it back into Greenfield, meaning they're going to demolish the Oval House. And they plan to do that late fall, early winter this year. I believe he said late October that they would start the process of demolition. He then explained to us how the lease agreement is tied up, that Belterra, Boyd Gaming, and themselves do not own the property, and they do not. They cannot sell the property, they cannot lease it, they cannot rent it. The property was sold sometime in 1997, I believe, from the Vevay Switzerland County Foundation at the request of the Internal Revenue Service. That was a not-for-profit supporting a profitable hotel. The hotel has not turned a profit in, I don't know, John probably, wherever he's at, probably got that number better. It's been a long time since they've turned a profit. He made that quite clear to us. So he can do demolition on the building, and that's the path that they've chosen to take. I think Keith asked him, is there any chance of selling this building or doing anything with it? And they made it very clear.
Okay, so it's an REIT.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. Just listening.
He said there's absolutely no chance of selling it because of the way the agreements are written up in that contract. There's multiple businesses, multiple properties, all on one lease, and they're not going to separate it. So that's where we stand today.
And we also asked, what about years down the road, and basically got the same answer. What's the future look like? Not just next year or 5 years. What's it look like down the road? And there really wasn't much of an answer other than they don't own the property. The property management group owns the property. We did make and I know Lance made the same comment when they were talking about it wasn't really turning a profit. My comment was, you haven't really promoted it for years. It's pretty much common knowledge it's used for housing for seasonal workers for the most part.
Speak up. You don't have to hear you. We can't hear you.
He said he didn't feel like they promoted it enough. But it's important to understand, which we've learned very quickly, that this is not our local Belterra folks doing this stuff, okay? They have a boss too. They answer to Boyd Gaming National Corporation in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this gentleman is from Las Vegas, Nevada, and he came down here and told everybody what's going to happen, and that's what's going to happen.
Okay, can I speak now? He's in an REIT trust, okay? IRS rules under safe harbor allows that property to be sold. The two main things are that in the last calendar year before it's sold, they have not made a capital investment over 30% of the value of the property. And they have not. That's obvious to anybody that lives here. Secondly, they have had to have it in the REIT trust for 2 years minimum. And they have. Those are safe harbor IRS rules. So he may have told you one thing, but those are IRS rules.
Okay, so I won't dispute you. Maybe you're right, okay? But at the end of the day, who owns the building? So we up here have no authority and nothing we can do to fight Belterra on their decision.
That's what God invented attorneys for.
Well, I'm not.
Okay? So this is a valuable property to this community. It's been mismanaged. Everybody that lives here knows it. I'm not saying anything that everybody doesn't know. It could make a profit. But you know, Paul Ogle, this was a gift to this town. That's why he built it. And we're going to tear it down. For all it does, it's a community
We are
center.
not going to tear it down. We are not going to tear it down.
No, Boyd Gaming is in Las Vegas. A bunch of jackasses in Las Vegas.
Okay.
You know, they see they can tear it down, they can write the entire expense of tearing it down in this calendar year. If they do it this year, so what does that cost to tear it down for them? Zero. And so if we don't fight it, if we don't stand up and fight, we don't have a chance.
Okay,
So we've got to stand up and fight.
I appreciate your comments.
Is the lawyer looking at it?
Well, none of our attorneys would look at it because there's nothing from a government standpoint that can be done. So in essence, we would pay our attorneys. We as the town would pay their attorney. We would pay our attorney to do nothing. They've made it very clear that they have no authority, so.
Our attorney is looking into it and has been studying that.
So do we think that Switzerland County needs another green space? You know, I don't think so.
Let some of these folks get
I have two questions.
ma'am.
The first of it is, if you look and prepare, you need to check and see what the zoning area is. And the zoning designation is called roadside
RB1.
RB1. If you want to protect that area in the future, if you happen to hear that he is, or the organization is going to do something that you don't think is going to be beneficial, we need to zone that into possibly residential. And to go ahead and make it so that this entity, whoever buys it, will have to do certain things. Now, I'm not fond of it, but I think I agree with you that there's nothing we can do, but we can control the zoning of it.
Yes, we can.
And the second thing, have you started working your numbers? Have you started to figure out how much we're going to lose in terms of in terms of property taxes and innkeeper's tax? I could find the property taxes. Looks to me like it's $34,000 to $40,000 less a year.
So county's tax alone is about $37,700 and change. This year, they wouldn't be obligated to pay that because they fell under a $2 million threshold. They would next year.
And the other thing is, and I couldn't get to it because I couldn't get the right person in the courthouse, innkeeper's tax. And that's 5% of something. And I think it comes as a lump sum. And I'm not sure if you can say, okay, what is it for this particular property?
That's confidential.
Well, I'm not
That's
saying,
not released
okay,
to the
confidential or not, it's a tax that you need to figure out how much you're losing.
Well, that's based on
Right. That would
resident
be to the
occupancy as
authorities.
well.
Yeah.
It's a
And
loss, so
there-
I mean, it's no mystery, it's a loss, and you have to figure out how much you're losing.
Right.
So,
We've all done all of that, obviously.
can you
You want to talk
share?
about the utilities that pay stuff, or we can't disclose that information either. But clearly, we've looked into this. I mean,
Why
no
can't
one up
you?
here wants this building torn down, I'll tell you that.
Okay, I'm going to possibly disagree with you. I don't think there is a, quote, a reason why you cannot make that information, or if the person goes to the courthouse, you can't get that information.
On their
That's-
utilities,
not utilities,
The
interest tax.
There is a
Oh, yeah.
code for that, it's a nice code for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
If you call me Monday, I'll tell you what it is, because I've already looked at that.
I'm not, yeah, I just couldn't get to it.
Yeah, and you won't be able to.
So you guys already know how much you're losing a year?
But there's
Can
not
you-
innkeeper's
can you
tax. What
What?
you don't understand is if they're not selling the rooms, if the rooms are not advertised to sell, there really
But they're
is no,
still paying
there really is,
taxes
there
for
really
those.
is no innkeeper's tax. So when you talk about innkeeper's tax, that's somebody coming and paying to stay in the room nightly.
Okay,
That
wait,
housing
I
that's there.
disagree with you there.
Ma'am,
because I can
We're
tell
gonna,
you why it's
ma'am,
not.
we're gonna move on, okay? You can call Gail and Brandy, and they will give you any of the tax information that's public knowledge, okay?
Can you state how much we're gonna be losing a year?
I just
because
told
of
you
this?
what the county was losing taxes,
You told the property
37,000 and
tax.
change.
You didn't say innkeeper's tax.
And we can't.
I don't have
we
it.
can't tell you that.
I don't have the-
There is
They're
no-
averaging about 5 rooms a month, that's what they're renting out right now. So,
They're not renting it, they're utilizing it for their own staff.
I saw a hand out here on this side somewhere.
So they need a permit to tear it down?
No,
Go ahead.
They don't need a permit to tear it down?
we have no local ordinances in place for that.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just gonna comment on the attorney. I mean, attorneys do things every day to stop things from happening. So, there's nothing that,
We haven't heard anything positive back.
what's that?
We haven't heard anything positive back.
Okay. And then, just out of curiosity, they house their employees down there.
They'll be moved to the main hotel.
They are gonna move them. Okay.
Yes, sir. To the main resort property. There's
So
some-
I'm curious how we're supposed to say any of our.
Can you come forward a little bit?
You're fine. I'm curious how we're supposed to say any kind of properties here when these out-of-state multi-million-dollar entities are coming in, buying up these properties. Look, promising us some kind of business, but then ripping that from our hands. How are we supposed to stop that?
That's what ordinance are for, so they'll have to, which the ordinance are being re-examined now before this happened. Sir?
Got a question. It's been, I think, in the last year or two, but it was a government subsidy with, they had all the Section 8s moving there for a while when they were revamping the waterscape apartments. How did they pay for that? How did that work?
I don't know. I imagine that's an internal, I don't know how they did that. The only information he's given us on the closing is that the things in the building would be donated and to not-for-profits or shelters or however they work that. But that was the only real info he gave us outside of demolition. We'll take a couple more. Sir?
They have the authority to tear it down.
Yes, sir.
I don't think they have the authority to give it away.
Well, that was brought up, and as I'm told, I'm no attorney, they do not, because it is tied up in all these lease agreements, however that works, and they do not have the authority to give the building away.
That seems like something the attorney should look at.
Well,
And I think that would be.
the explanation was, if they give it away, the property is still tied up in the same lease agreements. So that property company, GLPI, I think they are, would have to agree to that, and they will not agree to that. So, ma'am?
Way I'm understanding, there's two entities here. There is the Real Estate Investment Corporation that owns the land, and Boyd Gaming owns the building. Okay, if Boyd Gaming, who's forcing them to tear it down? That's just a choice that Boyd Gaming has decided to do?
This is a Boyd Gaming decision.
Okay.
Their
Why
decision,
can't
their
they just
decision
walk
was
away and
made.
abandon the building?
Do I now? I'm sorry.
Why can't they just walk away and abandon the building?
Because they're still liable for taxes on the building. This is their explanation.
Then why can't they sell the building
They
and
cannot,
let that
it's tied up in
owner
that lease.
deal with whoever owns the land?
They will not split the leases up. They're all tied into multiple different buildings and properties.
It does not make
All
sense.
Okay, so
Right,
that's
so-
what kind of demolition, how they're gonna tear it down, how it's gonna affect our living air quality.
No, that's outside of, yeah,
Still in the seventies, I'm sure there's.
1985.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take two more.
I'll just make a comment.
Go ahead.
Leases get amended all the time. So as long as there's an attorney looking into that, why can't the lease be amended or?
Need to vote on. Period.
As a doctor.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand that, just we've got to.
Yeah, there's a question.
Angie.
We all know over the last 30 years, that REITs have a really bad reputation in the economy, except for investors. If you think about all the news in the 1990s, 2010, to that, especially in that area, what you had were pools of investors with large amounts of money, no accountability to anybody but themselves. They would buy businesses, they would sell the assets of the business to somebody else, demolish the property, hold the land as an investment, and sell the land at an inflated price as soon as the market was high. In all likelihood, if you follow the dollars, that's what's happening here. This land is vacant land, 10 acres of riverfront land, in a growing market where prices are going up. If you just look at the tax assessments, forget about actual market value, which is going up much faster. You can see that over the last 5 years, tax years, the valuation of that land is 50% higher than it was 5 years ago. It went from about $1 million something to $1.9 million something, or whatever the numbers were. So if you're looking at it from their point of view, trying to follow the money, what are they doing? The REIT wants their cash, or at least the investment that will make them more cash in the future. Belterra, or whoever is on the other side of the thing, who's leasing, what they want is they want to get rid of a liability. An old building that hasn't been kept up, that nobody necessarily wants to buy, that they can't rent out, is just a cash grab. So naturally, their incentive would be take it down so we don't have to pay for any upkeep, any insurance. You don't have to do all that on land. So if we look at it from the point of view of this is what REITs have been doing in this country for 3 decades, and the IRS, nobody protects. Big businesses have lost seriously. I mean, thousands of employees let off when they buy these buildings and sell off the assets. They're just for sheer money making. I don't know that we can fight that, but it may be that there's a way to at least protect the use of the land in the future.
Yes.
Make it punishing for them to do something on that land that we wouldn't want. That strikes me, whether it's, whatever it is, there must be ways to do that, because, local, around here, unfortunately, we don't enforce many of our ordinances. People buy land all the time, they buy a property, let it run down, they eventually demolish it, and sometimes they're told to demolish it because it's an eyesore. So we don't have a history of doing this well, it doesn't mean it couldn't be done.
So you beat us to the last topic that we had of it. Belterra has agreed. Now, we all know how the world works. There's still hoops to jump through and red tape, but Belterra has agreed to help us utilize the green space so it's not a big giant grass field for the community. There's a lot involved in that. We have asked for things such as a park, soccer fields, baseball fields, whatever they're willing to help us with. They have agreed, Boyd Gaming has agreed to listen to the proposals to help us accomplish something in this field. Now, can you just give me a minute? That still has to be approved by GOPI, the lease holding company.
Exactly.
Yeah, that still has to be approved. And so there's a long road here. The first step is everybody has to put proposals together of what it is that we hope to accomplish with this field that's going to be created out there instead of looking at the field. And then they'll go for review and so on and so forth. So that's where we stand on that. Angie, you had a question I saw.
So I was just curious, if Boyd, if they are owning the building and operating, if they are able to sublease the operations to another entity?
They are not willing. Whether they can or cannot, I don't
They're
know.
not willing.
Well, whether they can or cannot, I don't know, because they're not gonna tell me that. They don't have to. They told us they're tearing it down. That's the final decision of that company, corporation, and that's that.
So the leaseholding company, after this is all torn down, and it's turned into a green space, whatever it is, can they come back and say, okay, we're selling this now?
No, because they're, no.
If they
Yeah,
look, they
well, I don't
all the
know. I
leases.
don't know the answer to that. But I
That's
can-
what I tried to get out of the other day when I was asking them down the road, 20 years down the road, where you at? You can't, you really got no answer.
The only answer they really gave us was Boyd Gaming is responsible to maintain the grass field. Mow it, keep it clean. That was the only real answer we were able to.
If they don't own the land, why are they obligated to do anything?
Because they're still tied into the contract and they're on that property.
They're still.
If they're not, well, but once that's torn down, who is going to take care of that property?
Boyd Gaming, he made that very clear. They're
I
still
don't
responsible.
believe that shows I'm sitting here.
How long
They
is the
don't have
lease?
to, they have
What?
no money in
How long
custody.
is the lease that Boyd
They
has?
didn't have that available.
Can you get an attorney to ask to see the contract that you're saying that they cannot, that means that they need to follow, the lease that they need to follow? If you get an
That's what-
attorney to figure out why you can't break the lease, and you're going by that statement, you need to get more information.
Well, we will. We're 48 hours into this.
Exactly.
We called this meeting just to give you the facts of what we know.
At the beginning.
So,
Yeah, she asked my question.
oh, okay. All right, we'll take one more. Any more out there? Okay.
So are there plans to get an attorney?
We have a term, yeah.
Is it Bascom?
are they working on it?
Yes.
Is it Bascom? Is
Do what?
it Garrett Bascom?
Our
attorney's
Bascom, the
not-
county attorney. The town attorney would be the one that's looking into things.
Okay.
The town is inevitably the one with the greatest vested interest into this, without exception. They're the largest loss of revenue, et cetera, et cetera. The town will have to take the majority of the lead on this, whether it be from that standpoint. But, we also want to keep a good relationship with Belterra through this. So, we gotta watch what we're doing in some of that as well. So,
I agree.
but we're working the angles to see what we can do. Again, this is 48 hours old for these guys, and we didn't know until the afternoon by the time, that we can't talk to each other during the day. So
How do we get updates from all of you?
Well, our intentions are to continuously update on government pages, but I don't know when our next update will come. We're at the mercy of the
If
company.
there's not a meeting, would there be documents or something placed on the page that is an update? Because I don't think it's gonna show up at a county commissioners meeting or a county council meeting. And it might show up at a general meeting, but I kind of doubt it. Is there a way, a format, a written format for updates on a quarterly basis of what's going on?
Well, we'll have to see through our attorney, how things work out before we even figure out that road at this time.
You
They're
can
tearing
still
the
have
building
an
down.
attorney and still show some information.
I mean, I think we can agree that we all are on the same page. We don't want to see it tore down. Steps are in process. You guys are doing, we just found out, the public found out probably pretty quickly as well. It's a little overwhelming to try to digest it all. And if someone wants to create a Facebook page that updates everything, I think somebody could volunteer to do that. I don't think it all has to be you, or them.
I could do your Facebook page, it's just gonna share the information.
Belterra's been a really decent partner in our community with supporting things, and I don't think it's, us and them. A lot of locals work there, and they would hate to see it happen as well. I just think Boyd and the property holder have kind of tied their hands in this situation, but I do think there's probably some gray areas that can be explored, but it just takes, people in time.
September and October is all you have.
I mean,
So updates, I mean, would be great, but I don't know what you're gonna get.
Do we have a contact at all with the landowner, with the,
GLPI? No.
yeah?
No. I have Chris and I have the vice president in Long
Is
Beach.
there a way we could find the contact?
I'm sure-
with the landowner?
I'm sure somebody might provide that to us. All right, folks, we're gonna adjourn. I appreciate everybody coming out.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, second that.
Well, shouldn't our representative be able to represent us in this, or state representative?
State representative?
Yes?
Have they got contact with him?
Well, he's our county attorney. So.
You
Well.
could ask him for assistance.
All right, I'll second the motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank y'all. Thank you.